بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قال إبراهيم رب اجعل هذا البلد آمنا واجنبني وبني أن نعبد الأصنام رب إنهن أضللن كثيرا من الناس فمن تبعني فإنه مني ومن عصاني فإنك غفور رحيم. ربنا إني أسكنت من ذريتي بواد غير ذي زرع عند بيتك المحرم ربنا ليقيموا الصلاة فاجعل أفئدة من الناس تهوي إليهم وارزقهم من الثمرات لعلهم يشكرون. ربنا إنك تعلم ما نخفي وما نعلن وما يخفى على الله من شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء. الحمد لله الذي وهب لي على الكبر إسماعيل وإسحاق إن ربي لسميع الدعاء. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. ولا تحسبن الله غافلا عما يعمل الظالمون إنما يؤخرهم ليوم تشخص فيه الأبصار مهطعين مقنعي رؤوسهم لا يرتد إليهم طرفهم وأفئدتهم هواء. وأنذر الناس يوم يأتيهم العذاب فيقول الذين ظلموا ربنا أخرنا إلى أجل قريب نجب دعوتك ونتبع الرسل أولم تكونوا أقسمتم من قبل ما لكم من زوال وسكنتم في مساكن الذين ظلموا أنفسهم وتبين لكم كيف فعلنا بهم وضربنا لكم الأمثال وقد مكروا مكرهم وعند الله مكرهم وإن كان مكرهم لتزول منه الجبال. فلا تحسبن الله مخلف وعده رسله إن الله عزيز ذو انتقام. يوم تبدل الأرض غير الأرض والسماوات وبرزوا لله الواحد القهار. وترى المجرمين يومئذ مقرنين في الأصفاد سرابيلهم من قطران وتغشى وجوههم النار ليجزي الله كل نفس ما كسبت إن الله سريع الحساب هذا بلاغ للناس ولينذروا به وليعلموا أنما هو إله واحد وليذكر أولو الألباب صدق الله العظيم.
صدق الله العظيم. جزاك الله خير.
وجزاكم إن شاء الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يقول الحق في كتابه العزيز بعد أن أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him and we seek His forgiveness and guidance. We seek protection in Allah from the malice of our own souls and of the evils of our actions. Whom Allah guides, no one can lead him astray, and whom Allah makes him astray, no one lead him back to the right path. I bear witness that there is no other deity but Allah by Himself, no associate to Him, and I bear witness that Muhammad is His slave and messenger. O you believe, fear Allah as He should be feared and die not except in Islam. O you believe, fear Allah as you always say a word directed to the truth, that He may make your conduct whole and sound and forgive your sins. He that obeys Allah and His Messenger has then attained the highest achievement. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, it is not easy what we're going through nowadays. We have so many challenges at all levels. So today I would like to reflect on one ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah in verse 177. So it is called Ayat al-Bir. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ أَن تُوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ قِبَلَ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والموفون بعهدهم إذا عاهدوا والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك الذين صدقوا وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُتَّقُونَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in this verse that righteousness is not that you turn your face towards the east or the west, but true righteousness is in one who believes in Allah, the last day, the angels, the book, and the prophets, and gives wealth in spite of love for it, to relatives, orphans, the needy, the travelers, those who ask for help and for freeing slaves, and who establishes prayers and gives zakat. those who fulfill their promise when they promise, and those who are patient in poverty and hardship and during battles, those who are the ones we have been through. It is those who are the righteous. So when we look at this verse 177 in Surah Al-Baqarah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, here it is the emphasis, the true and the real piety and righteousness. The real purpose of religion is to foster piety and righteousness. The word al-bir is very important. The whole religion is called al-bir. It is various form. It has occurred in the Quran 20 times. It means obedience to Allah, doing good deeds, respect and kindness to parents, care for others, relatives, and fulfill the vows. Al-Bar is one of the names of Allah. It is also a quality of Allah's angels, the believers, and also the believers are also called Al-Abrar, and Allah has promised many rewards for Al-Abrar. It is important for us to understand the reason why this verse was revealed. It was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ when some hypocrites and non-believers in Medina wanted to engage Muslims in the dispute over the issue of Al-Qibla. They told these hypocrites and the non-believers told the Muslims, why are you facing Mecca now while you were facing Jerusalem before? What kind of religion is Islam? Why did you change the direction of your prayer? Does that mean that your prayers for all these years are not acceptable or no good? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed a verse to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. سيقول السفهاء من الناس ما ولاهم عن قبلتهم التي كانوا عليها قل لله المشرق والمغرب يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. The foolish among the people will say, what has turned them away from their Qibla, which they used to face? Say, to Allah belongs the east and the west. He guides whom he will to the straight path. So then this verse, verse 177, was revealed. So when we read this verse and we analyze this verse, there are really 5 major principles we need to look at. The first principle this verse talks about is Iman, believing in Allah and the last day and the angels and the messengers. The second principle is the charity, spending of your sustenance out of love for him, for your kin, for the orphans, for the needy, for the wayfarer, for those who ask, and for the ransom of slaves. The third principle is the devotion. Be steadfast in prayer and practice regular charity. For the fourth principle, we look at it and we need to reflect on this when it comes to this verse, is the fulfillment of the contracts which we have made. And the last principle, be firm and patient in pain or suffering and adversity and throughout all period of panic. So this surah, actually, it shows the people of the truth, the good-fearing people. So when we look at this surah, now it is really summarizes the three things that we deal with. It's the teaching of Islam when it comes to Iman, teaching about the Iman and the faith, and the practice, the ibadat. So we're looking at the Iman, we're looking at the ibadat, and also we need to look at the social transaction, the muamalat. But these are the three things that we deal with it on a daily basis. And this surah does reflect and summarizes Iman, the ibadat, and also the muamalat. So when we're looking at our religion, and the basic principle of our religion is to build individuals and societies on these principles. So when we look at the first principle, the verse talks about. So as far as faith is concerned, we are reminded to believe in Allah, in the hereafter, in the angels, in the books, and also in the prophets. So when we see that and we look at other verses in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, those who believe in the unseen. And also our beloved Prophet ﷺ taught us, ليس الإيمان بالتمني ولكن ما وقر في القلب وصدقه العمل. Faith is not a matter of hope or wish, but what dwells deep in the heart, and good deeds are witness to it. So when it comes to believe in the unseen, it needs a person with full faith and a person with perception and vision, or else it requires this deep Iman. This is why it's really critical to have this deep Iman so that we can believe on these things. The second principle is there is no Iman without good deeds. So the best test for a faithful person is to ask her to spend money for the love of Allah. So when you ask this person to donate, that is really the test. You cannot say, I believe, and stop. Every time we read the Quran, we see amana wa amila, amana wa amila. For we need to confirm our belief by our action. So when it comes to this concept of giving, it comes down to this real issue. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون وما تنفقوا من شيء فإن الله به عليم. By no means shall attain righteousness unless you give freely. You give freely without even asking, without people asking you. Give freely of that which you love. And what you give of a truth, God knows about it. So it is clear that in order for us to fulfill the Iman, the first principle, then we need to do something. We need to give things away that we love, such as money. And then we look at the third principle is the religious practice, prayers, zakat. So there is no prayers without purification. Here we're talking about the purification of the soul. It has to be through the zakat. So this is why there is no prayer without purification, and we're talking about here is zakat. We need to purify ourselves. So then the fourth principle is the fulfillment of any contract that has been made. Now, this factor or this principle and the definition of prayer is really we're dealing with the fulfillment of any contract. This idea of al-wafa bil-ahd, fulfilling of the contract, is critical in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in so many places in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, awfu bil-uqud. It's an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. O you who believe, fulfill all obligations. Fulfill all your obligations. And there's another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَوْفُوا بِعَهْدِ اللَّهِ إِذَا عَاهَدتُّمْ وَلَا تَنْقُضُوا الْإِيمَانَ بَعْدَ تَوْكِيدِهَا. Fulfill the covenant of God when you have entered into it, and break not your oath after you have confirmed them. So it is clear that in so many verses in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala order us to fulfill the contracts. وَوْفُوا بِالْعَهْدِ إِنَّ الْعَهْدَ كَانَ مَسْئُولًا. This is another verse. And fulfill every engagement. For every engagement will be inquired into in the day of judgment. So we are responsible in the day of judgment. We're going to be asked in the day of judgment about this if we do not fulfill our contract. So there are so many examples that we deal with when it comes to this contract. For example, when it comes for us, those who came from another country, came to this country, we signed this contract with this government. This contract basically to fulfill our duties. So we cannot cheat the government. We cannot do something against the law of the land. So we're not fulfilling this contract. For example, we know some people in our community, they are not following the law of the land, and they have all these excuses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us we need to fulfill our contract. This is one example. Another example is when you sign a contract with somebody, you have a duty to fulfill that contract. So you hire somebody to do the work at your house, at your company. You have to fulfill, you have to do your part. Your employee, people who work for you, you sign a contract with them. You have to fulfill your duty with them. Of course, they have to fulfill their duty too. So this is critical. And if you notice these 5 principles, they are all attached together. They are all additive. So the last principle, in order for us to do all of the above 4 principles, we must have to be patient, whether we are suffering, in pain, in adversity, or in a state of panic, like our situation right now with COVID-19. Everybody is suffering. Everybody they don't know what's going to happen. We all are having a hard time to deal with this. So we need to understand that this is part of the religion. So you cannot just do one of these principles. We have to look at all these 5 principles. But in order for us to fulfill these principles, we have to be patient. It is easy to fulfill all the requirements of al-birr if one has the pleasure of wealth, leisure, and happiness. Yeah, if you have the money, if you are safe, but the real test is when you go through difficulties, like right now, nowadays, living, it doesn't matter where, everybody is suffering from this pandemic. So it is hard on everybody. So this is where the test is. So these requirements of one in suffering or adversity. So even during suffering, one has to fulfill the requirements of al-birr with love of Allah and with patience and perseverance so that Allah will reward such a person greatly. So otherwise, if we don't do it because now with coronavirus, I cannot do any of these, that's not an excuse. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, Alif Lam Mim, أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Alif Lam Mim, do men think that they will be left alone on saying we believe and that they will not be tested? So yes, it is difficult nowadays, but at the same time, we need to understand that what we're going through right now is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we hope and pray that we will be able to achieve the state of al-birr in our daily lives, so that inshallah we will be called al-abrar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that al-abrar may enter into paradise. As far as the righteous, they will be in bliss. Each one of us, we need to reflect on this verse and other verses in the Quran, especially nowadays, because nowadays we have people going around and not fulfilling the contract, going around and blaming others, going around and saying these things about other people, about institutions. We need to be careful here. Yes, it is a test. Yes, we all are going through these difficulties, but at the same time, we have to fulfill and we have to do our part. So each one of us need to ask these questions. How true and sincere is my faith in Allah, His Prophet, and His guidance? How is my devotion to my religion? Yes, Friday Jum'ah is a requirement that I have to pray at the masjid, but we're going through a difficult time. Yes, in Clifton Mosque, the board decided not to open it. There are no benefits here for the board to make that decision. We need to understand that. We need to keep that in mind. The goal here is the safety and the health of the people. So yes, when we look at the Quran, yes, we don't have to open the masjid because of the situation. The numbers of the cases in Hamilton County are going up. We have to be clear about this. We have to look at the benefits of the entire community here. But at the same time, I can pray at home. And then we need to ask ourselves, how much do I care for the poor and the needy? Even nowadays, with the situation we have, we still need to help the needy. Fourth, how true and honest am I in my commitment, my promises, my contracts? Again, we need to look at the situation. Any contract we have, we need to fulfill our duties. So if you are a member of the organization, this is a commitment to help, to support the organization. You come to Clifton Mosque, you're helping the mosque. You need to fulfill your duty. I'm a board member. I have a duty to fulfill. I am responsible in the day of judgment. I'm gonna be asked, did you do the right thing for the community? The board members are more responsible when it comes to that, because any decision we make, it will affect the entire community, 500, 600, 700. It's a heavy responsibility in board members. It's not that just simple and easy. It is a very heavy responsibility. But we have a commitment. We sign a contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we will do the best we can to save, to help our community and to be sure that the community is safe and healthy. Another question, how is my patience? This is an area we all need. I need to work on this. How strong am I to face the challenges of life? Do I get irritated by small things? The other four principles cannot really function properly without the fifth one. We have to be patient. This is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that testing us. How are we going to perform? Another question, how am I doing as a Muslim? What transformation has Islam brought into my life? Brothers and sisters, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to be among the truthful and righteous people. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to understand His teaching. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to practice wisdom and the ability to live according to the will and to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us so that we can fulfill our commitments and to reach the level of al-abrar, so that we can, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can bless us with Jannat al-Firdaus. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that all of you be protected and be safe and healthy. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت. ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. If I said anything wrong, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me. If I said anything that is helpful to any of you, it is from a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I would love to answer any question any of you have, inshallah. No questions? Jazakumullah khair. May Allah bless and reward all of you. Inshallah. Hopefully we'll see you soon, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.